This is the left hip shift squat activity. The purpose of this is to train dynamic internal rotation on that back hip, and the ability to go in and out of it without extending through our low back, and making sure we can use our adductor and other internal rotation muscles through that dynamic range of motion. To set up for this position, we want something that's about waist level. This box here is perfect, but you can use a sturdy table if you wanted to. You want to get a book about an inch to inch and a half thick underneath that back foot, and you want to make sure that your whole foot can be flat on it. And then you want your front heel to be in line with your back ball of foot or mid-foot. Now, Trevor, what I want you to do is I want you to bend both knees, unlock them, and I want you to get really heavy on your left heel. Good. Now I want you to lean over that box right there or the table, staying heavy on the left heel, and place your forearms on that for me. Good. So now he's got his back rounded. He's going to lean further on that back heel with both knees unlocked. Now what I really want him to focus on doing is achieving a really nice setup position, because the setup for this is everything. If the setup's not right, the rest of it is not going to go very well. So heavy on the left heel. Now what I want you to do is push your right knee slightly forward and push your left knee slightly in. That should give him a sense of a stretch in this back left pocket right here. That is that internal rotation and the femur head sliding back. Now what we want is also a sense of the adductor on that side. So before he goes down, he should feel that inner groin muscle right here activated. You got that, Trevor?
Absolutely.
Good. All right, so now he's flexed through his low back and his upper back. This is rounded. And again, this looks like a lot of flexion, but it's okay because we're trying to get ourselves to extend and feel that adductor without overly extending through the low back. So setup position looks great. Now you can take your hands and put them on the sides there, because now he's going to squat down. So keeping all of that connected, right knee going forward, left knee going in. I want you to stay heavy on your left heel and squat down. Most of his weight's on that left heel. I would say around 90%. He's going to squat down. Good. As he exhales, he's going to get to parallel. Inhale through his nose as he comes up, pushing through that left heel. It's going to be hard to stay shifted into that left side, but that's what this is training. Make sure you stay nice and rounded. Make sure you're staying on that left heel. Squat down. Good. Inhale, push through that heel and stand up. This should be a ton of inner groin, a lot of the quad on the back side, and you should feel that stretch in the back glute at the top and even potentially as you go down. Looks really good, Trevor. Nice job. The single most common mistake we're going to see on this activity, because it is hard and there's a lot of things to think about, is that they're going to end up focusing on the right things, but then the back tends to arch because that is how people are compensating. We're trying to train people out of that. So go ahead and set up in that position where you're flexed. Good. And then as they go down, they tend to have a tendency to arch that back more and more and more, and now we're just trying to get the pelvis to dump forward into internal rotation, as opposed to getting it genuinely through the rotation of the pelvis rather than the low back. So make sure when you're at that top position there, you're really pushing, and imagine there's a hand on your back, push into that, and then go down. For most people, it's gonna feel like they're flexing too much. I can promise you, you're probably not actually flexing too much. And then that looks a lot better. The other thing that we see is people stagger their stance too much. So that right foot comes too far forward, and then they end up hinging it, and it looks like more of a deadlift than a squat, and it's really hard for us to stay on that left heel as we do that, and it overall just doesn't look or feel very good. So make sure that that front heel is in line with the back midfoot or ball of foot. The last thing that we see is people will have that left knee come too far forward. When that happens, they're going to lose the ability to sense that left heel, which is associated with a little bit more internal rotation. As you can see, his heel's coming off of the ground, his back is starting to extend because he's going on his toes, and then he's not going to feel that adductor, and it's going to be a lot of low back and quad. We want the quad to be working with the adductor, not the low back, in the context of this exercise.